The question of how God can be eternal and yet act in time is going to depend on your definition of the word eternal. Something can be eternal in one of two senses. In one sense, the entity could be timeless. That is to say, it would transcend the temporal dimension entirely and not exist in time. On the other hand, something could exist in time, but be eternal in the sense that it is beginningless and endless throughout infinite time. Now, if God is eternal in the latter sense, that is to say, omnitemporal throughout infinite time, then it's very easy to see how he can act in time. He's already in time, and so there's no problem. On the other hand, if you say that God transcends time, he doesn't exist in the temporal dimension, then whether or not he can act in time is going to depend upon a profound philosophical question about the nature of time. That is to say, do you think that time is tensed or tenseless? That is to say, do you think that time involves past, present, and future as objective properties of events and moments in time, that things really do come into being and pass away? Or do you think that time is stretched out rather like a spatial dimension, where the difference between past, present, and future is just a matter of your perspective? For the people in the year 2000, the year 2000 is present. But for the people in the year 2050, the year 2050 is present and 2000 is in the past. And none of these moments of time really is the present. They're all equally real and existent, and what is past, present, and future is just a subjective perspective of the person involved. Now, if you say that time is tensed, then I think you really do have a problem of how a timeless God could act in time, because in order to act in time, he's going to date himself. He's going to act at the present moment, and there will be actions that he'll take later on that he has not yet taken. And therefore, that will involve temporal becoming in God. And so I've argued that if you think that God is timeless, that you cannot think that time is tensed and think that God acts in time. The only hope, I think, for the person who believes in divine timelessness is to affirm a tenseless theory of time, where all moments of time are equally real, stretched out like a line. God is outside, he's off that dimension, and so he can act at any point in that dimension. So if you embrace that tenseless view of time, I think you can coherently hold to divine timelessness and God's action in the world. But I've argued that that comes at a considerable cost philosophically and theologically. To name just one problem, what that means is that the world is co-eternal with God. God never exists without the world. It is just as eternal as he is. And that seems to emasculate the Christian doctrine of creation out of nothing, which holds that there is a state of affairs in the actual world that is God existing alone, without anything else, without the universe, and God creates the universe out of nothing and then comes to coexist with the universe. And so the denial of creation out of nothing would be a theological price to pay for a tenseless view of time, a price that I think is far too high to pay.